Her Majesty the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh leave the Queen's flight to be escorted by the Lord Lieutenant of Ayrshire and Arran as they're welcomed by 450 local children and some of the parents. Her Majesty will first meet one of the giants of British industry, the chairman of British Aerospace, Professor Roland Smith, whose personal support for Jetstream 41 was key to the company's decision to launch the new project. His wife, Mrs. Joan Smith. And Mr. Alan MacDonald and his wife Eileen. Mr. MacDonald is Director and General Manager of British Aerospace Commercial Aircraft Airlines Division, Prestwick. Her Majesty will be introduced by Professor Roland Smith to some of the key members of British Aerospace Management. First, Mr. Dudley Eustace, Financial Director of British Aerospace plc, another significant figure in the board's decision to launch the new project. Mr. Charles Masefield, Deputy Managing Director of British Aerospace Commercial Aircraft Limited and Managing Director of the company's Airlines Division. His wife, Mrs. Fiona Masefield. Mr. Paul Harris, Financial Director of Commercial Aircraft Limited, and his wife, Mrs. Susan Harris. Mr. Harris was quick to recognize the commercial potential of Jetstream 41 and has assisted in the financial direction of the project since the early days. Mr. John LaRucco, MBE, Senior Vice President Engineering and Second in Command here at Prestwick, the father of Jetstream 41, in whose honor the prototype aircraft has been registered. And with him, of course, his wife, Mrs. Margaret LaRucco. The registration of the new aircraft, Golf Charlie Juliet Lima, immortalizes John's initials in recognition of his leading role in the design and development of the Jetstream 41. Mr. Jimmy Thompson, Prestwick's Head of Operations, more often referred to as Mr. Prestwick, and his wife, Mrs. Nancy Thompson. Mary MacDonald, 10-year-old daughter of Alan MacDonald, Prestwick Director and General Manager, waiting with excitement to catch the Queen's attention, moves forward to present a posy to Her Majesty on behalf of the local schoolchildren.
Majesty, Your Royal Highness, my Lords, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to British Aerospace, Commercial Aircraft Limited, Airlines Division, Prestwick. Today is not only a special day, but a unique one. The 27th of March, 1991, is the day in which the company's new airliner, Jetstream 41, is to be rolled out. Today is unique because several firsts will be recorded. For Scotland, the Jetstream 41 is the first all-new aircraft to be designed and manufactured in Scotland for more than 40 years. Its sister aircraft, built here in Prestwick, the Jetstream 31, is already the world's leader in its class. A first too, because never before has such a project been successfully taken from drawing board through to rollout in so short a period, just under 24 months. Down through the ages, man has shared many dreams, some achievable, some not. Not yet anyway, but who can say? Some say dreams are for dreaming and not achieving. They say it's better to travel than to arrive. For others, their dream becomes a quest. However improbable, or even in some cases unpopular, it provides them with an appetite for overcoming the impossible. For them, their dream is a vision. It may be to explore new frontiers, master new techniques, achieve new goals, or uncover hidden secrets. We are here today because of the dreams of many, the quest of just a few, and the vision of one man in particular.
The mastery of flight owes as much to man's imagination as it does to his ingenuity. If necessity is the mother of invention, then it was man's need to be free which fueled his determination to reach for the sky. Perhaps the discovery of flight owes more to a dream than any perception of speed, mobility, or power that such an advance would eventually bring. Whatever the motivation, the sight of a soaring bird drove many great men to pursue the quest for centuries, wrestling with the impossible until one day the heartbeat of life became a vision, the spirit of flight.
Observe how the beating of its wings against the air...
Even the genius of Leonardo da Vinci was not enough to unravel the mystery of flight.
This machine should be tried over a lake, and you should carry along in one's wings. One should make one cord to bear the strain, and the loser one in the same position, so that if one breaks under the strain, let the outer extremity of the screw be of a steel wire as thick as a cord, and from the circumference to the center, let it be in depth. He will be able to throw himself down from any great height without sustaining any injury.
Men have always dreamed of possessing the power of flight, conquering the air and emulating the bird's effortless freedom of movement. Many myths and legends emerged from this dream, most famous of which is the story of Icarus. Aided by his father Daedalus, he tried to escape imprisonment by fixing wings to his shoulders with wax. The quest for flight more often followed the fancies of imagination than the sound reasoning of science. The first recorded attempt in Britain was James Damien's leap from the ramparts of Stirling Castle. It was the Scot, James Tytler, who made the first ascent from British soil in a hot air balloon in 1784. His achievement inspired many others to attempt to make the dream come true. Real advances were not made until the end of the 19th century by such pioneers as the Wright brothers, Otto Lilienthal and Percy Pilcher, who began experimenting with a series of gliders in 1895, just 8 years before the Wright brothers finally made the first successful powered flight. While dreams may have inspired the quest for flight, it took vision to develop flight into an industry. And vision is the preserve of only a few. On the 3rd of April, 1933, flying specially converted Westland Wallace single-engined biplanes, two pioneering aviators became the first men to fly over the summit of Mount Everest, 20 years before Sir Edmund Hillary's historic ascent. Not only did their courage turn them into the heroes of the aviation world, but David Fowler McIntyre and Douglas Hamilton, Marquis of Clydesdale, made sure that their native Scotland was thrust permanently into the grand arena of flight. Both men instinctively knew that here could be found the highly skilled and committed workforce necessary to fulfill the vision that their pioneering adventure had inspired. McIntyre recognized that the mighty Clyde was as much part of his heritage as the shipping traditions from which he came. He well understood the limitations of a Scottish economy reliant upon the sea, and was quick to contrast them with his scenario, based on mastery of the air. David McIntyre was a man of vision.
I see the air as an ocean that washes over the whole face of the earth.
The scale of the two pioneers' vision was as bold as it was unlikely.
To establish the aviation industry in all its branches in Scotland.
The following years saw many attempts to establish at Prestwick the various branches of aviation that McIntyre had envisaged. A Scottish College of Aviation, which very soon had aspiring RAF pilots clamouring for places on courses renowned to be the best in Britain. The base from which an international airport eventually emerged. The first Scottish airline operation. An RAF station of strategic importance as a transatlantic bridgehead playing a vital role in the Allied war effort. Aircraft overhaul and repair facilities. The company began its long association with aircraft design and manufacture with the Prestwick pioneer. its successor, the Twin Pioneer, an aircraft designed for short takeoff and landing, and which the Duke of Edinburgh light-heartedly christened Double Scotch. Despite the extent of its involvement in the various branches of aviation, the company was not well placed commercially to survive the turbulent years which lay ahead. The determination and ability of the people of Prestwick to turn their hands to whatever opportunities came along ensured that aircraft engineering skills would be retained and applied to new projects. Projects such as the maintenance of CF-100s and 104 starfighters for the Royal Canadian Air Force, the manufacture of Bulldog trainers and the production of fuselage panels for more than 770 Lockheed Hercules transport aircraft. The excellence of Scottish workmanship won for Prestwick the coveted Lockheed Quality Award, the first ever to be presented to a company outside the United States. However, it was far from plain sailing. Success followed by setbacks gave Scottish Aviation Limited a reputation for the ability to survive by identifying and nurturing opportunities. The decision to acquire the rights to build Jetstream aircraft proved to be a watershed in the history of the business at Prestwick. It was the potential of the Jetstream, coupled with the resilience and tenacity of Prestwick's people, that attracted the might of British aerospace to massively reinvest at a time when fainter hearts would have backed away. No longer isolated as Scottish Aviation Limited had been, British Aerospace Prestwick could now enjoy access to vital and essential resources. The injection of marketing, commercial and technical expertise by British Aerospace enabled Prestwick to become firmly established as an aircraft design and manufacturing business. The company's faith in the team at Prestwick and in the aeroplane that was destined to become known as the People's Champion was rewarded on 25th of January 1982 when the first Jetstream 31 was proudly rolled out as a new regional commuter aircraft. The spirit of confidence swept through all areas of the business, revitalizing the culture, the very soul of Prestwick, uniting its people in a clear vision of the future. This sense of common purpose, coupled with the qualities of excellence for which the Jetstream was acquiring a growing reputation, gained the Queen's Award for Export Achievement in 3 consecutive years, a Scottish manufacturing first. Over the years, the skills and experience of the people of Prestwick have been justly supported by modern techniques. Visionary genius, coupled with an insight into the needs of passengers and operators alike, resulted in one of the industry's finest development programs. With a secure business platform, the Jetstream could now develop into an aircraft range which would enjoy international acclaim. The Jetstream 31 was the first aircraft to be expressly used by regional airlines to feed the new major operator megahubs. Designed ahead of its time, Jetstream was ready to take full advantage of American deregulation. The Jetstream's Garrett engines are tough, efficient and highly economical. The stringent anti-corrosion process has earned the Jetstream an enviable record in safety and longevity. The Jetstream family serves a wide range of applications. New levels of refinement for passengers make the Jetstream an airliner of distinction. Economy, performance, versatility and comfort. Hardly surprising that today, more than 320 Jetstream 31s and Super 31s are certificated and in service throughout the world. They have clocked more than 2 million landings in climates ranging from the searing heat of deserts to the frozen wastes of polar regions. Jetstream is unquestionably the leader in its class. Designed and manufactured by professionals for professionals. A true people's champion.
In the air, as well as on the high seas, the world's great liners acknowledge that speed, style, and economy need not be conflicting masters. We all know aviation is now a feature of everyday life, and one in which few travellers are prepared to trade comfort for adventure. Factors such as economy, reliability have become watchwords in an industry where time is the real currency. The synergy between people and product here in Prestwick comes from a truly unique combination of commitment and engineering skill. At all levels, the product reflects craftsmanship and an awareness of customer needs. Responding to vitality of leadership, progressive thinking, and wise investment, this business, despite its high technology image, I believe will continue to be a people business. Little wonder then that Jetstream is the people's champion. It seems like only yesterday that Mr. Alan MacDonald, Director and General Manager, announced a challenging new goal to design and build a new plane which would combine all the strengths of existing models with the need and sophistication of operators in the 90s and beyond. To be called the Jetstream 41, it would be a worthy complement to the 31 and be rolled out in under 2 years. The ceremony today is designed to acknowledge the diligence of everyone in the business who have not only contributed to the success of the Jetstream 31, but have laboured long and hard to develop this latest triumph. There are, however, others, equally important, who should be similarly recognised for their understanding, for their support and enthusiasm. They are the families of everyone in the business affected by the very long hours, the short weekends, which have inevitably disrupted family life. Now, after many hours of development work, the day has arrived. The very first Jetstream 41, Golf Charlie Juliet Lima, is to be rolled out. A remarkable achievement by a remarkable group of business people. And yet, perhaps predictably, in the light of the dream which we call the spirit of flight, it's not so remarkable. So now the time has arrived. As with all happy events, the birth will be followed by celebration. I'm delighted to announce that the Scottish Ballet, together with Mr. Edward Maguire, have undertaken a commission from our host, British Aerospace, to produce a new composition for their repertoire, based upon our theme for the day, Spirit of Flight. Your Majesty, Your Royal Highness, my lords, honoured guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to introduce to you the Scottish Ballet under the direction of Mr. Kenneth Burke, choreographer Paolo Lopez, and accompanied by the Glasgow Festival Strings and the Whistle Binkies, a unique combination of Scottish traditional music with a classical orchestra. The Spirit of Flight.
Hello? Hi. I'll be home in about an hour.
Passengers travelling on the Jetstream shuttle service, please proceed to gate 1A.
Wonderful, wonderful. I would like now to call upon our principal host, Chairman of British Aerospace, Professor Roland Smith, to speak to us on this very special occasion.
Your Majesty, Your Royal Highness, Your Graces, Lords, ladies and gentlemen, may I first of all congratulate Alan and all the team here at Prestwick for that magnificent performance. I think it's really... we have our finance director with us this morning, and I could see that he was requiring oxygen at various parts of it. But it's a tremendous show. As you know, ma'am, we at British Aerospace, through our predecessor companies, have a long history and association with Scotland. British Aerospace Prestwick, the home of the Jetstream aircraft, is a Scottish industrial story. We employ over 2,500 people in the west of Scotland, and we regard our business, whilst we're in the forefront of technology, as I think Jackie said at one stage, we are in the people business. It's really all about people, and we do try to put a lot of time and attention and expenditure on the training and development of our people. We spend more than any other business or any other organization in the United Kingdom on the education and training of our people, which is so important to developing our business. Sometimes people say that education is expensive, but you try ignorance. And of course, it's estimated that over the next decade, the airlines division on this site will contribute over £1 billion to the Scottish economy. Sales of the Jetstream 31 and Super 31 now total over 400 aircraft, 80% of which, as you could tell from the films, have been sold to the North American market. And we're extending our manufacturing base here in Scotland, and we've also, in fact, invested in some of our support facilities in North America and Canada. We also, of course, on this side, have our own flying training college where we train British Airways and other airline pilots, and that too has been a most successful enterprise. And during the 80s, our business at Prestwick flourished with a turnover that's increased year by year, and now to over £150 million. And we've invested enormously in the Jetstream program, over £100 million. Actually, in the last 3 years, British Aerospace has invested something like £1.5 billion in new technology of one kind or another. So we have very heavy research investment programs. But we need to invest to remain competitive, ahead of the field, and to do things like this, as we've done this morning. Now, so far as the new Jetstream 41 is concerned, we've already, in fact, had 70 orders and options placed, and today we actually announced commitments for a further 51 Jetstream 41 aircraft. Finally, I would just like to pay tribute to our major suppliers and to our customers. We collaborate very closely, of course, with Field Aircraft Limited and Pilatus Aircraft Limited, our two risk-sharing partners, both of whom do deserve our very grateful thanks for their confidence and support. And again, all our customers. I'd like to pay tribute to our suppliers, the Garrett Engine Division of Allied Signal, Gulfstream Aerospace Technologies, and Honeywell Corporation of America. And indeed to all our suppliers on the Jetstream 41 program. The fact that we've achieved the timing that we have with our production is as much dependent upon our suppliers as upon ourselves. Your Majesty, Your Royal Highness, we're all very deeply honoured by your presence here today on this momentous occasion. I'm sure you'll join me in wishing the team here at Prestwick every success with the Jetstream 41. Now, if I may, Your Majesty, I would like to invite you to address my colleagues and our guests, Your Majesty.
Professor Smith, thank you for your welcome. And thank you also to British Aerospace for enabling us to be with you today, not just by inviting us, but by building the aircraft which brought us here. But the reputation of your company is high enough to need no endorsement, even from the Queen's flight. The Jetstream 41 is just the latest example of your ability to produce aircraft which appeal to airlines and customers all over the world. Like its stablemate, the J31, it is clearly going to take a popular place in the market. And I'm very encouraged by the reception it has already been given by buyers at home and abroad. I am, this afternoon, going on to visit Yard Limited in Glasgow. There I shall find further proof that Scotland expects and receives the best of its engineers. Scotland can be proud of both companies, as it can be of this aircraft. It has made and will go on making a substantial contribution to the Scottish economy. And at Prestwick, it has a home and family which will follow its progress anxiously throughout its life. May that life be long, happy, and prosperous. I congratulate every member of that family, and I'm delighted that so many members of it are here today to welcome the result of their years of devoted hard work. It is commitment to the highest standards of technology which has made this latest achievement possible. It will not, I know, be by any means the last. I wish you and your company all possible success in the future.
There can be no finer finale for this occasion than to suggest that Mr. Alan MacDonald and Mr. John LaRucco could escort Your Majesty and Your Royal Highness to view the aircraft and to meet some of the people involved in this development, along with Professor Roland Smith and the Lord Lieutenant of Ayrshire and Arran.
So the royal party, escorted by Mr. Alan MacDonald, moves forward to view the plane. Well, certainly the ceremony today has saluted vision, and it's been Mr. MacDonald's inspirational leadership, business vision, and unshakable belief in the commercial potential of Jetstream 41 which inspired British Aerospace and the people of Prestwick to turn the new aircraft from a dream into a reality. Mr. Bill Black, Vice President Engineering at Prestwick, and his wife Jacqueline. Bill has overall responsibility for the production of the prototype aircraft and subsequent Jetstream 41s. Mr. Gordon McConnell, Prestwick's Chief Engineer. Mr. Frank Crowfoot, formerly Chief Project Designer at Prestwick. Frank has spent the last 18 months in Savannah and Oklahoma City, working with Gulfstream Aerospace, overseeing the design and manufacture of the Jetstream 41 wings. Mr. Gordon Stiles, Vice President Customer Support. Gordon and his team ensure that a fleet of literally hundreds of Jetstream variants and earlier aircraft produced at Prestwick provide total customer satisfaction worldwide. Mr. and Mrs. Ekram. Roy is President and Chief Executive of Allied Signal Aerospace, who, through its Garrett Engine Division, manufactures the robust and efficient aero engines for the Jetstream 31 and 41 aircraft. Mr. Ian Conradi, Chief Test Pilot, the man who'll check, check and check again over coming weeks before finally taking the new Jetstream 41 up for its maiden flight. Mr. Mike O'Callaghan, Head of Operations Designate. Mike's being groomed to succeed Mr. Prestwick, Jimmy Thompson, as Head of Operations. Mr. Richard Hunting, Deputy Chairman of the Hunting Group, parent company of Field Aircraft Limited, a risk-sharing partner with British Aerospace in the Jetstream 41 project. Managing Director of Field Aircraft Limited, Mr. Phil Stewart, and his wife Joan. Fields are one of Jetstream's biggest supporters outside of British Aerospace and have been associated with Jetstream for almost a decade, equipping and painting more than 300 Jetstream 31s at their aircraft completion centre near West Midlands Airport. Mr. George Watterson, Manager of Aircraft Assembly Operations. Miss Sharon McCready, one of the first ladies to successfully complete the rigorous engineering apprenticeship training programme at Prestwick. Sharon, an enterprising 21-year-old, is now a fully approved airframe manufacturing operator. George, one of Sharon's mentors, joined Prestwick back in 1957 and has nurtured literally hundreds of Jetstream 31s from their major assembly construction phase through to completion and entry into service. Chief Designer, Mr. Nick Sibley. Nick joined Prestwick for the Jetstream 41 project, and together with his team, they have tirelessly laboured under the direction of John LaRucco to ensure that the design of the new aircraft was available on time, on spec, and on budget. Mr. Peter Bryden, one of the company's prized team of airframe manufacturing operators. Peter, who worked on the final assembly of the prototype Jetstream 41, typifies the commitment and attention to detail which pervade the actions of all team members. This ensures that every product which leaves the company is not simply excellent, but the best. Her Majesty the Queen is greeted by Jackie Stewart, who, besides being an international celebrity, is especially respected in his native Scotland. From Dumbarton, Jackie's been world champion 3 times and 27 times Grand Prix winner at Formula One racing. In 8 years of competing, he went on to become a legend in the history of motorsport. Here, I think Her Majesty's attention is being drawn to a screened message suggesting that the new Jetstream 41 might be another double Scotch, a reference to the Duke's light-hearted christening of the twin Pioneer aircraft many years earlier. The participation and relevance of the family in today's ceremony will certainly not have escaped Her Majesty's attention either. Resplendent in blue and white, these families proudly represent the many husbands, wives and children supporting their partners as part of the Prestwick family. Dr. Sue Truman, the First Lady of the Prestwick Management Committee. Sue is Vice President Jetstream Projects and has a demanding schedule overviewing Jetstream 31 production and major aspects of the Jetstream 41 project, including the flight test program. Mr. John Payton, Manufacturing Manager of the Aircraft Final Assembly Team at Prestwick. His team has rolled out over 320 Jetstream 31s from this very hangar, Building 38, which has been transformed into a theatrical auditorium for today's event. John and his team are eager to repossess their floor space and quickly transform it back into the birthplace for the growing family of Jetstream 31s and 41s. This young gentleman, Mr. Barry McCall, is a key member of John Payton's final assembly team and is scheduled to complete his engineering apprenticeship within the next few months. Before working on the final assembly of the Rollout aircraft, Barry helped to manufacture the first Jetstream 41 fuselage. Mr. Steve Smested, Vice President Jetstream Sales. Born in Montana, USA, Steve joined the Prestwick team in April 1989 on secondment from the British Aerospace Washington office, where he began his prolific association with Jetstream. His Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh meets some of the Prestwick team involved in today's show. A keen aviator himself, the Duke doubtless appreciates the intricacies of manoeuvring a plane in a theatre as well as in the air. Mr. Jim Boyce, Principal Design Engineer. He's been a key member of the team responsible for the design of the new aeroplane's flying control systems. Mr. Gus Fox, one of the longest-serving members of the Prestwick team. For more than 48 years, Gus has worked as an airframe manufacturing operator on almost every project undertaken at Prestwick since the early Scottish aviation days. He's also committed much of his free time to serving on the British Aerospace Pension Scheme Committee. Mr. Matt Welsh. Matt joined Prestwick as an engineering apprentice over 27 years ago and has risen steadily through the ranks to his present position as Jetstream 41 Manufacturing Development Manager, a job he's obviously well on top of. Mr. Walter Gubler, or Wally as he prefers to be known, is Managing Director of Pilatus of Switzerland, one of Prestwick's major risk-sharing partners on the Jetstream 41 project. Pilatus are currently manufacturing Jetstream 31 tail sections and will soon be undertaking similar work on the Jetstream 41 project. Mr. John Holland, Manufacturing Manager of the tail section of both the Jetstream 31 and the new Jetstream 41. Shortly after completing his company-sponsored fellowship in aerospace manufacturing at Cranfield Institute of Technology, John was seconded to Switzerland to assist Wally Gubler and his team at Pilatus. New recruit, Head of Quality, Mr. Archie Hughes, who recently joined Prestwick from British Aerospace Dynamics Limited. Mr. Bernard Haggerty, who has been with the team at Prestwick for over 30 years. Benny is supervisor of the spray painters team, who have made a magnificent job of the livery of the new Jetstream 41 seen today. Head of Finance at Prestwick, Mr. Alan Fraser. Alan was instrumental in developing the business case to launch the Jetstream 41, and is today responsible for the financial management of the millions invested in the project. His Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh seems pleased to be relaxing with these honoured guests, who I'm sure will long value their encounters with the royal party today. Mr. Peter Black, show and film producer for today's ceremony. Mr. Alan Crozier, event project manager for the Rollout. Both Alan and Peter are project consultants with William M. Mercer Fraser Limited. Mr. Jim Hone and his wife Angie. As Head of Personnel and Administration at British Aerospace Prestwick, Jim's duties extended to Executive Director in charge of the Jetstream 41 rollout event. Despite the obvious complexities involved, Jim was determined from the outset to involve as many of his Prestwick colleagues as possible in the rollout ceremony, and in the end, he was able to ensure that not a single name was missed. He's obviously a very proud man today. So now the royal party leaves the auditorium for the exhibition area, where Her Majesty the Queen will meet selected guests of British Aerospace. Mr. Brian Thomas and his wife, Ai. Brian is president of British Aerospace Incorporated, based in Virginia. The North American market accounts for 80% of British Aerospace's civil aircraft sales. Mr. Bob Martens, president of AMR Eagle, with 200 regional aircraft feeding the parent company American Airlines. They've ordered 60 Jetstream Super 31s, of which over 30 are in service and hold 15 options, plus 50 options for the Jetstream 41. Ms. Yantien Roseboom, accompanying Mr. Lang. Mr. Bill Lang, President and Chief Operating Officer of Pan Am Express, a wholly owned subsidiary of Pan Am. They operate 10 Jetstream Super 31s in a highly successful Florida interstate operation feeding Miami. Pan Am Express holds 10 firm orders and 10 options for the Jetstream 41. Mr. Michael Bishop, CBE, is Chairman of Airlines of Britain plc, which includes British Midland Airways, Manx Airlines and Logan Air jointly operating a fleet of BAE 146s, ATPs and now Jetstream 31s. With him is Mr. Terry Lydiard, Managing Director of Manx Airlines, and his wife Myra. The combined experience of this group is highly representative of the civil aviation industry. Terry Lydiard is proud of the fact that Manx Airlines is unique, being the only carrier in the world operating all 3 British aerospace commercial types, that is Jetstream 31, ATP and 146, and he looks forward to making it 4 with the acquisition of the Jetstream 41. Terry joined British Midland in 1970 and is held in high regard in the Airlines of Britain group. Resident in the Isle of Man, he admits to playing bad golf when time permits. Mr. Tim Flynn, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of West Air Holding Incorporated. The largest regional airline company in California, West Air serves 68 cities with 58 Jetstream aircraft, with a further 20 Jetstream 41s on order. Mr. Flynn's fiancée, Terry Tuttle. Tim and Terry are to be married in April this year. And now we move on to Mr. Maury Gallagher and his wife Marcia Moritz. Maury has been President and Chief Financial Officer of West Air Holding Incorporated since August 1987. Maury has a keen financial brain and is a close confidant of Tim Flynn. Both have helped steer West Air to its dominant position today. The company is the largest regional airline system in the West. West Air Holding Incorporated operates as United Express through marketing agreements with United Airlines. Maury and Marcia have a son, Spencer, and Marcia is expecting their second child shortly. Keith Houck, President of Jetstream International Airlines Incorporated, a wholly owned subsidiary of US Air. They operate 31 Jetstream 31s as US Air Express from Dayton and Baltimore, including the high-cycle aircraft worldwide with over 18,000 flights. Ali Adriatica is well represented here today by no less than 3 senior board members. Professor Bongazzoni, Signor Carlo Toto, and Dr. Vincenzo Leone. Mr. Mike Brady and his wife Carol. Mr. Brady is President, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Phoenix Airline Services and its operating airline Express Airlines. They've operated Jetstream 31 since mid-1985, 25 of which currently operate Northwest Airlink services feeding their hubs at Memphis and Minneapolis. Formerly with Eastern Airlines, he helped form Eastern Metro Express, an early Jetstream operation which pioneered the Express theme of many operators. Mr. Robert Priddy, Chief Executive Officer of Air Midwest Incorporated, and his wife Kiki. Robert was co-founder of Atlantic Southeast Airlines. Mrs. Eloise Flynn and Mr. John Flynn. As director of West Air Holding Incorporated, he helped establish the West Air subsidiary, NPA. A veteran of World War II, he ran an FBO in Eureka, California during the 1970s and established a small scheduled commuter airline in Northern California. John and his wife Eloise have been married since 1948 and have 5 children, including Tim, and 12 grandchildren. Although nominally retired, he acts in various consulting capacities, including to his son. Sue and Dowie Rowlands, Executive Vice President, Sales and Marketing of British Aerospace Commercial Aircraft Limited. Her Majesty the Queen and His Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh move across to sign the royal portrait photographs, a time-honoured tradition graciously accommodated by Her Majesty and Prince Philip on special occasions. However, this time it proves more special than ever for Mr. MacDonald, who seizes an opportunity to obtain an additional signed print. A moment to appreciate the captivating work of Lynn Williams, who was commissioned by British Aerospace to produce this masterpiece depicting the Jetstream 41 flying over the QE2, presented today to Her Majesty by Professor Roland Smith. All great occasions are commemorated with gifts, and today is no exception. Professor Roland Smith presents to His Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh a solid silver replica of the Jetstream 41, cast and modelled by Brian Banbury. The visitor's book, suitably completed to take its place in history. The royal party pauses for a moment more to recognise the skills of two more artists, commissioned by the Garrett Engine Division of Allied Signal Aerospace. First, the laser wood carving by Lynn Thomas, showing the Jetstream 41, presented to John LaRucco for his outstanding leadership and technical excellence in the design and development of regional airplanes. For Mr. MacDonald, a large painting by Raymond Martins depicting American and British creativity.
People will always want to fly. They will always require vehicles to fly in. No one at the moment dominates the small regional commuter business. Many people have been involved in it, but no one yet dominates it. With the Jetstream 31 in the 19-seat niche market, with the Jetstream 41 going into the 30-seat niche market, we, British Aerospace, Airlines Division, Prestwick, have an opportunity to try and dominate that area of the marketplace. And it's something we're absolutely determined to do. And despite the fact that there's competitors there, despite the fact that we're subjected to a weak dollar and the effect that that has on our business, despite those facts, we will survive and we will succeed because we understand, more than we did perhaps in years gone by, the dynamics of the business and the things we have to do and the changes we have to make to live with the real life situation we face day in, day out. And that's all due credit to the people here at Prestwick. They are the most adaptable, the most flexible people you could ever work beside. So this should not be the end of it. This should be the beginning of dominating the regional commuter business, provided we can give a return to our shareholders. And I encourage all my colleagues here at Prestwick never to lose sight of that.